Hello, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is me, Adil Raja, with Jirga, with Jalil, with Mr. Jalil Afridi, one of the senior most journalists in Pakistan and general of journalists, in fact. If you're talking about journalists in Washington, D.C., he's the general of journalists because he's got clearances everywhere. He goes everywhere. He goes to White House, he goes to Pentagon, he goes to State Department. He asked the most difficult questions at the same time. He asked the questions which are in your heart and my heart and our minds as well. He's got the guts to ask those questions directly. And but we would like to welcome you, Jalilala. How are you? How's been the
Good,
week?
good.
What's going on?
Thank you very much, brother. All is well. How about you? Everything is good.
Everything is pretty fine. I see that you're sitting right in front of Washington Memorial, and I think it started to rain as well. Are you okay there?
Yes, the weather is, yes, it just started to rain. And yes, I'm in front of the Washington Monument, which is right in front of the White House. I wanted you to enjoy some beautiful views, Beside talking about politics and, international issues, I was like, why not be in a beautiful place at least?
That's really great, Lala. Lala, you tweeted just now, just a bit ago, and today's hot topic is Justice Qazi Faiz Isa. And Justice Qazi Faiz Isa has been appointed as a Chief Justice. I mean, they were trying to appoint him since last 3-4 months before his terms could started. They want it looks like the military establishment, is in my opinion and as per my information as well, wants him to continue for as long as possible. And for them, 1 year is might not be enough for him to continue. But he was supposed to be a very revolutionary kind of a judge who used to be anti-establishment, but of late he has changed course drastically. Anyway, you said that, dear Honorable Chief Justice Qazi Isa Sahab, I'm very impressed with the honor and respect you have given to your wife. She definitely deserves it. I mean, that's a first that his wife is standing there, and the oath was in English and Urdu. It was very liberal, and definitely there's a change. But you said that I hope you give Pakistanis 10 times more honor and respect by ensuring justice to the people of Pakistan. They are okay with eating one meal a day, but they are not okay with injustice. That's the only thing I have been suggesting to our rulers, starting from late President Musharraf days, when I used to personally see Brigadier Jaz come to Port Lakhpat jail to make deals with the convicts of heroin trade. Of course, he did that on direction of Musharraf. But was that just? Question mark. Let's put Pakistan for once on the right direction where there is no compromise on justice. We have damaged our country enough. We have humiliated ourselves enough. Please, you ask the government of Pakistan. Do you think he's going to heed your request, Lala? Or what are your opinions? Frankly, I'm not asking you a question. What do you have to say?
Rajaji, look, as one of the major pillars of the state, judiciary in every country plays a very vital role, whether me and you like it or not like it. Journalism is one of the pillars of the state, whether you like it or not. We have good journalists, we have bad journalists, and we have, some journalists who, support political parties, or, it is the fifth generation warfare, some people call, the new name for journalism is that even, the social media journalism, the public journalism. Then, of course, you have the other pillars as well, right? But of course, I do have expectation. I do not know some of the things that you said about him, but I do believe that any Chief Justice.
That's me saying it.
Exactly.
I'm not going to put my weight or the burden of my truth on your shoulders. I'm not doing that. I'm asking exclusively your opinion. Your opinion.
Yeah. But what I'm trying to say is that, I do have that expectation from any Chief Justice of any country. Okay, when it comes to my own country, I have seen for decades now, this same lack of justice is what is pushing us as a country back. I think it is the same justice system that I've seen, for example, in Lahore High Court, this old man standing up and telling Chaudhry Iftikhar that, sir, he just stood in the middle of the aisle, okay? He was wearing white clothes with white turban. And he said, "Sir," in Urdu, he said, "Sir, my case is pending since 25 years. Can you please give me justice?" Now, 25 years is a very long time. Okay? I mean, that poor man, I can tell you, if he was given justice in 7 years or 5 years, and he was given one meal a day, he would have been fine with it. The amount of humiliation in Pakistan we see every day, and I saw it personally. For 8 years, I saw the judicial system of Pakistan from session court to Supreme Court. You know, every day the people who come to jails to meet their relatives, I saw that system with my own eyes as well, you know. So yes, I do have expectation for him. I did respect the fact that he had his wife standing next to him. I think it is a liberal, nice gesture from our side to the world, you know. You probably have seen many US presidents, you know, with their wives holding the Bible for them, and, you know, the president puts his hand. So yes, I did enjoy it. And yes, I do think just like he has given respect to his wife, he should do that for Pakistan. At least he should try to do as much possible as he can, you know, because he is one of the pillar of the state. He can make a difference. And I think if he can make a difference in one person's even life, I mean, although he has 200 million to look after, but if he can even make a nice difference in one person's life, I think that it would be good enough. And that's all I was trying to tell him was that just like your name is Isa, you know, Isa again is Jesus, right? So I think the expectation even increases a bit more, you know, who knows, he might prove like, you know, our holy prophet for us, you know,
Fingers
or for
crossed.
the...
I'll keep my fingers crossed for that. But moving forward, Lala, tell me something, Lala. You are right now leading a campaign, not a campaign, all right. Let me rephrase myself. You're asking very difficult and tough questions from the US State Department and in the White House as well. And you're asking the US Biden administration that the hatred which is originating in the Pakistani American community and in the Pakistanis, the anti-American sentiment which is getting bigger and bigger each passing day because of the involvement of the US administration in the regime change operation and so on and forth. I mean, you've been asking a lot of questions. I mean, they seem really scared is the reasonable, respectable word to say. Otherwise, I wanted to say the American alternative for it, but you don't like me calling, like me talking bluntly. But they're afraid of you, in fact. But
I
you're
don't
asking the
want
right
you
kind of question.
because I don't want you to become either Jamal Khashoggi or that Assange guy. You know what I mean? I want you to live with your family nice and happily. You know what I mean?
Well, I think Lala, so you call me a commando journalist, so actually I've got a very firm belief in what I do, and I'm not purely a journalist.
You're a commando
It's by
journalist.
default. It's by default. But coming back to the original thing, you know, I've been hearing you talking in the State Department as well. You wrote to the US ambassador in Pakistan as well. You asked him, what were you doing there with the chief election commissioner? And then you asked this publicly as well. You tweeted about it as well. And you said, let me show it to the public. In fact, that what you've been asking a lot of people and what actually you were saying. If you'll permit me, I'll show it to the wider world what you exactly asked. Let's show it to the people. It is on the screen. Let them hear it.
Encourage those two
This.
Matt, one question about Afghanistan. Pakistan and Afghanistan are having border issues on Torkham since last few days. Thousands of people are stranded. What is the U.S. position on that?
Obviously, we would encourage.
So this was one of the, but this is the. I wanted to. I wanted to show this, Lala. This. I wanted to show this.
You had told me to ask the ambassador of the U.S. in Islamabad, so I asked him about his meeting with the election commission chief. He did not answer me, just sent me the press release back, which he had issued in August, that the U.S. wants to see fair elections being held and stuff like that. But what hurted me, Matt, and you are in the position to answer that when I asked him that, Mr. Ambassador, do you think since last 1 year, the relationship between human-to-human relations with America and Pakistan towards America, do you think it has improved or it has decreased? If I can't even get an answer for this much question, then what is diplomacy about?
I will answer the question this way, as I have said, I believe before, and answer in response to similar questions, that Pakistan is an important partner of ours, and we greatly value the relationship between our countries, both between our two governments and the people connection.
You know what I want to say? Oh my God! I want to say, oh my God, in response to this thing, because you see, Lala, nobody's got the guts to ask such a question first. I mean, you're clearly telling him that what the hell is going on actually. So, I mean, you could ask only that much of a question there. But what are
So
your opinions?
Rajaji, let me put this question in a little bit in a wider sense, because I feel like, as you use the word campaign, okay, there are some issues which I raise in State Department and in the White House, and I raise it for the interest of America. I have no agenda behind it, okay? Just like I have raised this Pakistan issue, let me, let me share another issue with you, which just popped up yesterday again. And the issue is that since Modi became the prime minister, I asked Mr. Kirby, John Kirby, who's the national security spokesperson. I had asked him at that time, he was State Department spokesperson. I said to him, hey, Mr. Kirby, now when Modi is the prime minister, and are you going to give him the US visa to visit America or no? And he said, yes, we are going to blah, blah, blah. 8 months ago, I said at the State Department to Ned Price that, hey, Mr. Ned Price, did you see the BBC documentary on Narendra Modi where Jack Straw, the British Foreign Secretary, stated that Modi has basically butchered even more people that is on the record. Like more killing, more women were raped over there and whatever. And he told this to BBC. And after that, BBC offices were raided and you know what happened. 2 days ago, this gentleman named Peter Frederick in North Carolina, you know what he said? He said the Indian party who is ruling India, whose prime minister is Narendra Modi, he is a ruler of this RSS party, which basically believes who is an extremist wing with militant and all that stuff, and they have a militant wing in North Carolina. Now, is that, and they meet the mayor and they claim that they have police support as well. Now, is that good for America to have? That is not good for America to have. So I did not raise it with any agenda. I do think that this country offers some of the best human rights or democracy rights that you have to offer in the world. I mentioned it. I told Ned, I told Matt, I told Kareen. I said, guys, I will never embarrass you. I will never embarrass your leaders, I do believe I'm living in a country which has some of the best things to offer. But yes, I am going to criticize your foreign policy. I mean, that's my right as a journalist, at least, So just like I criticize Modi over there because of his things, I do criticize the way Imran Khan was moved and the way things have happened in Pakistan since last 1 year. Economically, socially, journalistically, morally, everything. You name me one thing that you can be proud of in Pakistan since last 1.5 years or whatever. One thing. Do you have anything that you can say that, in last 1.5 years, that thing happened very nice? Me sitting here in Washington, D.C. every morning when I wake up and read something, there is humiliation for us. There is embarrassment for us. What are we doing to us? I called you for the first time. Why did I call you? I called you because I saw your mother being humiliated. I've never seen this in my 25 years of journalism, brother. Why do you think I started to do this Jirga with you? Is because you pushed me and you gave me the idea. And I said, hey, listen, if we can play a better role, if we can play a nicer role, why not we do it in Pakistan, in UK, and in US? And yes, no doubt, President Biden has put his whole image, whatever he has displayed since last 1.5 years in Pakistan, his diplomats, whether it is Secretary Blinken, whether it is poor Matt, the one I deal with, because he has to answer on their behalf, right? It's their job. It's not like, they have to give what is in the policy. Well, their policy has been very bad, I think, since last 1.5 years. And yesterday, when I went to the White House to ask Jack Sullivan a question, he's a national security advisor. I told him that I mean, my question was, which I shared with his staff as well afterwards, that listen, my question was simply about whether this foreign policy towards Pakistan has created any national security issue in the US as well, or no? Because I really think that they have, because you have 1 million Pakistanis here, and a lot of them are not that educated, so like there, it should have been thought about. Today you have a protest rally. I mean, it's raining here in Washington, D.C. Let's see how big it is, but I think it is going to be pretty big, Rajaji. I think that's going to
Yes, I am also expecting it to be very big, Lala. But we'll come to that later. But just off the record, something very personal. You sent me the picture from White House yesterday, and I'm showing it to the audience as well, in which you're standing. Why are you not sitting there? I mean, don't you find a chair there in the White House? What's this got? What's the story behind you standing over?
So this is a little interesting issue, Rajesh. So after I had suffered encephalitis and I got back to the White House, so now I don't have very good balance, right? And my more than this right eye doesn't work very much, hearing, vision, balance, all these things have been affected. So I asked the White House Correspondent Association president at that time. Her name was Tamara Keith. She works for NPR, and she allowed me to bring a stool to the White House, right? So I sat on that stool for a while, and then a couple of days they did the renovation of the chairs and stuff for the press sitting area. So my stool is gone, so I didn't have my stool. So I do not like to sit on somebody else's seat, so that's why I was standing basically, But yes, I have told President Biden, I have written to him, I have told Karine that I think in the White House press briefing room, because when I first came to America in 1990, it was President Biden and his team I was reading that was working on creating this whole handicap laws and things, and I wanted to see them in Pakistan as well. Unfortunately, I couldn't do anything, but I did always.
I'm surprised that even in White House, your stool gets stolen or whatever reason the reason is. I mean, this is really
not just that, really but I'm bad. Saying that there should be one.
Pakistani, when they won't let you do that, they'll bring a stool for you if you're going to the place. Definitely. Yeah.
No, that's why in Urdu we have that saying, "Sharaq tale andhera hota hai," under the candle there is always darkness under the candle. Maybe that's why, they don't. But there should be a seat. I have mentioned them. I hope President Biden gets this, and Karine mentions it to him, that this press gallery needs to have at least one seat, not in the first, second, third row, maybe in the fourth row somewhere, But there should be a seat for a handicapped journalist, I think so, Yes.
So, Lala, before we move to the last topic, and that is going to be the PTI protest today in DC, which I'm going to be covering live.
I have some topics for discuss as well, Rajaji and Jirga. It's not.
Before that, we'll come to you. Of course, you'll have the mic, whatever you want to say, but I have to ask you one thing in particular which you tweeted about, and I'm going to show the tweet to the world. With the Frontier Post, your paper have done a story that the public face of China's military under corruption probe. You've written this story, and quoting that story of yours, you've written that Mr. Jingjing Li, hope your Uber journey is going well. Any advertising campaign about getting rid of corruption in China? 5-year 120K of mine gone in China, and despite police report, not a single arrest made. In Pakistan, if somebody's cow or goat is missing and police report is filed, at least the police hands you over a So, Lala, what is this story about? How the Chinese have wronged you?
Rajaji went to China, bought copper over there, went to an office, went to a godown, loaded 2 containers of coppers, ordered them to Dubai. I received the containers, but instead of
come from Sandak, then Sandak, it must have been come from Sandak, Pakistan.
I hope that someday they pay attention to some of our mirrors over there, but that's another long story. Anyway, I get the containers in Dubai, and guess what? There is trash in there. We go back to China, we register police report, and guess what? Till today, not a single arrest has been made. I mean, I don't understand how China is gonna, like, what are its plans for global economic. I personally think their economy is going very down. From what I heard about the real estate industry, people are.
We used to think, Lala, sorry for cutting you. We used to think the Chinese are really, super rich and they're doing super well, and they must have done it. Definitely, that is why they're a
Yes.
global superpower, at least right now. But in Pakistan, once we found the bank fraud, the ATM fraud, almost all of the high tech frauds, behind all the high tech fraud, Chinese nationals were caught and they were deported to China. What's this? This is
So I
another
don't know
new
why.
phase for us.
I don't know why when people think about only us, we look corrupt to them. I don't know why is this impression about us. There are other people in other countries, and almost every country has their corrupt people.
Yeah,
Of
yeah, yeah.
course, China has a lot as well, and they have them, I feel like, in their ruling political whatever their system is, the Communist Party or whatever. Whenever it comes to them, the issue is played down. I think in my incident, personally, I think in my incident this thing happened as well. I think somebody big is involved. Nobody wants to touch them. I mean, how can the whole office, company account, bank account, the money, the go down, the shipping? I mean, so many parties were involved. How can they all disappear, Bhajan? I mean,
Mm.
Gawal Mandi police station in Lahore is very popular for like doing bad things and stuff. But I'm
Yeah,
telling you, they're not that bad. If your deer gets lost or a goat get lost, I'm telling you, after a little bit of bribery or whatever, they will find at least an elephant for you. They'll at least give you something that,
yeah.
and I told them that. I said, "Hey, listen, if I want me to pay you something, but give me something at least. Don't just send me empty-handed." And that's what I've been saying to them since last 5 years. That and economically too, Rajaji, I'm telling you from sitting here, from what I see at the economic side, I think last few years Chinese economy is going very down, especially big giants like Apple moving to India, moving all their manufacturing over there. I think it is, and many other big brands as well. I think they have shifted their manufacturing to India. So Chinese economy is not doing good at the moment, in my opinion.
So, Lala, what other issues do you want to talk about? You've got this. I've just noticed you've
Yes.
got a very good handwriting, and you've got this entire page written out, which you wanted to talk about. What is this
Yeah,
page
well,
about?
it is this diary of mine that I take everywhere with me, and especially after my illness, I like to note down things because the short-term memory,
Yeah.
as the short-term memory has become a little. So I just wanted to discuss some of the international issues that I see that are related to our region, and I think that are going to be affecting at least us in coming days. And just wanted to share one of the things that I noticed from Jack Sullivan's conversation yesterday was, United Nations session is starting. All the world leaders are here. I personally think from hearing him, the couple of things that are important to us is the C5+1 summit that they are organizing. C5 is the Central Asian states, brother, the Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, these countries, and one is America. So I think for us, Pakistan, Central Asian states are going to increase its importance. I think we should focus, whoever is the ruler listening. I don't know whether it is Mr. Kakar flying here or whoever is going to be coming. I think Central Asian states are, their importance is growing a lot because of China and Russia in the US. So from international relations wise, this is one issue I wanted to bring to your notice that I noticed, that is important. Another thing is the Saudi Arabia relationships with the US. That is another. Of course, Sullivan said that the Prince Mohammed is not coming, but the foreign minister is coming. I think Saudi relations with regard to Pakistan, again, I feel like in coming days, Rajaji, I mean, they are going to be growing, with different aspects. Of course, you see Israel building a lot of relationship with Saudi Arabia. So on the
What
one
is
hand,
that? What does that got to do with the Saudi-Pakistan relationship? The
Of
Israeli
course,
relationship with Pakistan.
of course, everything in this world, when it's a global village, everything is going to be getting affected. It's not just Saudi Arabia. We, as you can see, every ruler of our goes to pay their respect to the Saudi princes and to the Saudi royal families,
Do
right?
you think Kashmir issue would be buried forever?
I personally think, and I don't know, I tweeted about it a long time ago as well. And I talked to Sardar Atiq about it as well. At that time, he's one of the former prime minister of Azad Kashmir. I told him that, I said, hey, there was this story somewhere it had appeared, and I had mentioned that I feel like Kashmir has been again put on the back burner. I do not think that Kashmir issue, after whatever Modi did and the laws changes over there, I mean, Pakistan should have raised it much, much more, even stronger than what it was done, uh, and from what I hear and read, I think Pakistan is now going to be maybe pursuing it again. But it has been very internationally. I think Pakistan, the way it has taken twists and turns on Kashmir issues, playing it low and then playing it high and then playing it low. I think that has put our credibility at stake. I think we need to be even a little.
Talking about credibility and talking about playing it low and high, there are rumors. In fact, there is talk, genuine talk inside India, in the Indian media, that for the Modi, for his re-election, needs to conduct a false flag operation or a surgical strike inside Pakistan for him to give that macho man persona. And there are talk in Pakistan as well. And because of the situation in Gilgit Baltistan, and because of the U.S.-American strong ties as well, there won't be any reaction from Pakistan. They don't want to escalate the tension, but they just want to keep it boiling enough for Modi to gain the political mileage out of it and get re-elected. What are your opinions about it?
Rajaji, first of all, my personal opinion about Modi is that he's not getting re-elected next time. I think
You told me that. And why? Why do
Biden,
you think? Why do you think he's not getting re-elected?
couple of things. I think his hatred image, his Muslim, like his hate for Muslim, like that's a genuine thing, Rajaji. It's not
That was there. That was already there.
It's not a Pakistan.
You see the
It's not
Saudis
a
and
Pakistan.
Emiratis going to Kashmir and shaking his hand and thanking him for allowing him the opportunity, for getting an opportunity to invest in the so-called spice route.
Because Saudis think that the Indians are very good employees. They have a lot of employees in Saudi Arabia. I don't know if you know about this. I mean,
Yeah,
all their cooks, chefs, drivers. I mean, the Indians play a big role in their economy. So
yeah,
it's
they're
not just
manpower. Yeah, they're good, dedicated manpower, good
yeah.
manpower. Yeah,
They're good manpower, and they're both in skilled and in unskilled labor. By the way, I'm talking about both of them. If they're gonna get the Saudis and the Arabs love to have a white manager, a white boy, on top of the guys. But at the bottoms, they really like Pakistani and Indian employees. They love us for. I remember in universities, this one this one Dubai friend of mine. He was from Dubai, big guy, local big guy. He used to always come to me and joke around. Jalil, if there were no Pathans, there would be no Dubai. So he would joke with me about it that Dubai is created because of Pathans. All the labor there were Pathans.
because of the really harsh working condition. Only Pathan labor could work over there. Nobody else could work over there. Yeah,
Military as well now, Rajaj. Our military is also like that as well, because they work in such a tough and terrain. Our military, the poor guys who we don't talk about it. We always talk about all the big guys.
Yeah.
But these poor guys, of course, man, the life they live or the conditions they go through, of course, that's why you see all our soldiers winning different awards in different competitions. Because they go through this tough trainings and stuff. And so Saudi Arabia was another issue of mine. Another issue that I wanted to discuss in the Jirga with you also was Rajaji. I don't know if you have heard or not, but China has allowed an ambassador of Afghanistan to come to Beijing. So now there is an Afghan envoy in Afghanistan. So China-Afghanistan relations, I think we need to look at it a little more in perspective of, how China is dealing with both of us,
So that is a very big development, very huge development.
That's
That
a very huge development.
after
That's a very
Pakistan,
huge.
China becomes the first country to accommodate one Taliban's. It's a huge development.
It's a huge
Yeah.
development, and I think
At the same
Jirga.
time,
That's why
Lala, let
Jirga.
me tell you something. At the same time, there are images coming out from Afghanistan in which there are forces moving toward the Pakistani border. There's infiltration inside Pakistan from the Afghan borders of the TTP elements as well. So the situation between Pakistan and Afghanistan is right now it's not really good, not ideal. The borders were closed as
Uh,
well a few days ago.
yes, and I asked about that too in the State Department. But the borders have opened. I do not think the situation is as bad as some people are trying to portray it. But yes, the situation is tense, definitely. And
Hmm.
just let me tell you one thing, which was again on my agenda of things to discuss with you. I'm sure you have, the U.S. Special Representative for Afghanistan, right? Thomas West was speaking at Stimson Institute the other day, and he did mention that TTP is not just threat to Pakistan. He said TTP is threat to the region.
So that's mission
Okay,
accomplished for the Pakistani military establishment, isn't it?
I'm sorry.
That's mission accomplished for the Pakistani military establishment.
How?
We have the TTP has been there. There's no such thing as a TTP. They're a group, small splinter, different group, and we
So
have created them with the CIA in the 80s, and we control most of them already. And now we have to create. It's a Frankenstein monster, and we have to tell the world that if you're not going to cooperate with us, there can be another 9/11 again if you're not going to cooperate with us. See, they're dangerous people over here, and they're out of control. So by showing them, by making them the boogeyman, our military establishment is, I mean, they're very well experienced in creating issues, pitching superpowers against each other at the Pakistani soil. Pakistani people have to pay the price. That is my opinion, but this is also the proof. This is also
no,
been
but
proven
listen,
that.
many journalists out there, I mean, share the same opinion like you. There is nothing every journalist has a right to give their opinion. But I'm telling you what this guy said the other day. So this is the U.S. opinion. The U.S. opinion is that TTP is a global threat. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. It has the capacity of a global threat. That's number one thing that I noticed from his conversation. The other
Mhm.
thing I noticed from his conversation was that he thinks that Afghanistan has played a good role in getting rid of the ISIS. Okay,
Mhm.
I don't know what I did not understand what logic or what reason did he have, but must be related to some intelligence thing, information that he has and me and you as a journalist don't have. But these two things were something that I picked up from his conversation that I wanted to bring into you in the Jirga to mention to you that, this is also something that we should be discussing in Jirga, and we should be highlighting it, the importance of the importance of regional players, the importance of our neighbors.
Mhm.
Of course, your neighbors are the most important ones right next to you, right? I think Pakistan, Afghanistan policy needs to be very transparent. Pakistan needs to be very upfront about it. Pakistan needs to discuss these issues on a very serious level with them. And always, I mean, we have a great ambassador. I know the ambassador posted over there right now, Mr. Ubaidur Rahman. He's served in DC as well. Great guy, honest guy. I know him, and hardworking guy. But if he has the team, if he has the resources to engage, to come out with solution, how, I mean, in last 5 days when the border was closed, thousands of people were sitting there, I mean, the drivers who were running those trucks, the goods, the businessmen, I mean, all those people are not terrorists, all those people are not involved in bad things. So this issue, Rajaji, of this whole, the last thing that I wanted to discuss, because it's a jirga, right? The whole conversation is a jirga. So the last thing I wanted to discuss with you was the lost identity of the Pashtuns, which is happening, Rajaji. Because of all these tussles, the Pashtun identity is in crisis, and it's not an identity of 1,000 or 1,000,000 people. It's millions and millions of people, who displaced, bombed, education gone, business is gone, and you have the same thing happening even till now. 25 years have gone and you still have things like this happening. So like this whole identity, I feel like, is also in crisis, and I think Pakistan on their part should look after it, on these Pashtun belts, on these areas, and Afghanistan as well. Afghanistan also needs to realize that, listen, you have partial Pashtuns on your belt as well. So stay away from the conflict, because this conflict could lead to a much bigger conflict, more bigger than people have in their imaginations. And of course, that's why, Rajaji, I want to tell you, these what is this guy, this PTM and all that crap, in my opinion, these people are not getting together the Pashtuns. I think they're destroying the Pashtuns. I think they're dividing the Pashtuns. I think they're creating more hatred between the Pashtuns. There are Afghans sitting here in Washington, D.C. with thousands of followers, hundreds and thousands of followers, and every day they spread hate about Pakistan. Like every day they're all age, and they sit in think tanks. They work in big lobby groups. They work, I don't know how they call themselves, intellectuals of Washington, D.C. or whatever. And boom, they tweet about Pakistan.
I think you're referring to Hamdullah Mohib, I think. People like
No,
him.
no. He was ambassador. He was much senior. I'm talking about even like just unknown, one of those assistant scholar at blah, 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 at USIP or at, Brookings or at Carnegie or at Wilson Center. I mean, we have beautiful, amazing think tanks here in Washington, D.C. I don't know if you know this or not, with people working in them from all over the world, top diplomats, top writers, their each write-up gets paid thousands of dollars. I mean, so there's everything behind them, I'm talking about those people. Where, by the way, one of our former ambassador who comes in controversies, what is his name? In Zardari times, there was the ambassador, who, what's his name? His name is skipping out of my head.
Zardari, this Osana Khani.
Osana Khani. He's also sitting in a think tank, right?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. So Washington D.C. is full of those kind of people, and it hurts me to see that the whole crisis has put the Pashtun identity at stake as well, Rajaji. These big war things, Taliban things, and PTM things, and blah 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 things. These have all put these, these like there is no culture left. There's no Jirga left anymore, except Jirga like me and you doing.
Yeah.
Like where else do you see? Where else do you see Jirga happening?
You're right. I agree with you, Lala. Lala, finally, moving to the final question, there is a very huge PTI's protest rally today, and I've been supporting it. I've been advertising it. A lot of people are going there. I've requested a lot of people who are going over there. What do you have to say? Do you think they would be able to create an impression in Washington, D.C. in front of the White House?
Let me tell you, Raj. Yeah. If they can, even on a day like this, 5,000 people would come out here, just 5,000 people, President Biden will definitely get at least a buzz in his ear, because listen, White House means his bedroom is inside, okay? The president lives there, okay? So he knows when 5,000 people gets together. But the problem, Rajaji, just like other party, I mean, some of our parties, nobody told me as a journalist in Washington from PTI, that, hey, we have a rally at 3 p.m., please show up, So these people, a lot of them have their internal, issues as well. But I personally think because people like Imran Khan, that's the whole problem. This is what I try to tell this American administration too, that listen, I swear Imran Khan has not paid me anything to say these things. But his own credibility is so much better than these other politicians that people love him because of that. People love him because of Shaukat Khanam. People love him because of his university, People love him because of his cricket. I mean, the guy has so much to offer. His resume is so much better. So despite the president here, which I know him as well, But I did not get any message that, listen, there's a PTI rally today at 3 p.m. in front of the White House. Please come. Make sure you do a story on it. Every political party should do this. But I think the rally is going to be decent enough. I think it should have been much bigger, much earlier done. I think it should have been done much earlier, and much bigger should already have been done if it was organized well. These people, I remember. What was his name? The Punjab governor during PTI days. He's from UK, right? I think Israr.
Surely server. Lala, the entire
Chaudhary-
party was actually made up of lotas. I would say most of them they were
Exactly.
biological workers were not there, and they're backstabbers. And in Urdu we say
You're-
Askin ke Sam. There's so many people I have exposed, and
Exactly.
once I exposed them, people came at me, abused me, but later on it got proved. And they came out and said sorry to me. But anyway, I won't go there, not just yet. I do indicate I do reserve my right to protest later on once the things will be proven once again, because I've got insight, because I was part of the establishment over there, and I could see what's actually going on, who is doing what. So I won't go there any further, and we are going to be broadcasting the PTI protest live as well on all my different channels. But before we go, as a special treat for all of you from Jalil Afridi Sahab, we've got this beautiful Rabab play for you, and he's recorded it himself, and that is why it's a gift. A 2-minute clip, which is a gift for you, all of you. And with this 2-minute clip of Rabab, beautiful Rabab play, we are going to end the show. And it is Jirga, and you need to enjoy Rabab, because we both, me and Jalil Lala, loves Rabab. And if you are a Pashtun and you don't love Rabab, even if you're a Punjabi and then you don't love Rabab, I think there is a technical defect within you. You need to please get yourself checked, right? So enjoy the Rabab, and with that we'll say goodbye to you.
Thank you very
From
much.
this episode of Jirga with Jalil. We will see you soon. Lala, please stay in the backstage, and we'll talk to you after this 2-minute clip, and enjoy this Rabab, and then I'll talk to you later. Take care, guys.
Take care. Take care. Assalamu alaikum.
Pama kha dekha ji, dera meherbani. Assalamu alaikum. See you later, guys.